This is crazy. This is crazy because the whole time Holly said that DDG chipped a tooth and the whole internet went crazy. The whole internet went crazy. Now DDG is showing receipts of the mermaid. You see cutting him, stabbing him. This is crazy.
This ain't no fairy tale. It's a full-on Little Mermaid breakdown, and the drama's crashing in like a tsunami. Halle Bailey, Disney's princess with the voice that had millions sobbing under the sea, is now crying in courtrooms instead. And the spotlight, it's not on her singing. It's on a storm of court filings, custody battles, and one explosive ex-rapper and YouTuber DDG. He went from baby daddy to headline-making chaos in the blink of an eye. At first, it looked like your usual Hollywood breakup. A couple unfollows here, some cryptic song lyrics there, maybe a shady Instagram story or two, but then, boom! She filed for a restraining order and brought receipts, real ones, photos showing bruises, a chipped tooth, and serious claims of verbal attacks and emotional damage. It was like she'd been living in a horror movie, with her baby boy caught in the middle. She painted DDG like a villain, and guess what? The court wasn't playing around either. Halle was handed temporary custody of their son, Halo, and a restraining order that kept DDG a solid 100 yards away. It looked like Mama finally broke the silence and stood up. But don't get it twisted, that was just the first chapter. DDG didn't take that hit quietly. He came back swinging, and when he clapped back, it was loud. He came back loud, with screenshots, surveillance clips, and wild claims that flipped the whole script. DDG started spinning a brand new version of the story, and it's shaking up Halle's image in ways no one saw coming. And now, word on the street is she just lost a big movie role, not just from what he's accusing her of, but from rumors about her own behavior too. That sweet, soft mermaid vibe Halle built might be slipping right through her fingers, and believe it or not, we're still at the beginning. Let's rewind real quick. Mid-May 2025. Halle Bailey walks into a Los Angeles courtroom looking drained, emotional, like she's been carrying way too much. No glam squad, no Hollywood shine. Just a tear-streaked face and a thick folder of evidence clutched tight. She wasn't chasing headlines, she was begging for protection. Inside those court documents, serious claims. She said DDG screamed at her while their baby was right there. She even handed over footage from a doorbell cam, showing the day he allegedly popped up at her place without warning, yelling, breaking her camera, and trying to grab baby Halo without permission. She told the court she felt scared, unsafe, like she was being hunted by someone who once promised to protect her. And the court, they took her very seriously. The judge didn't play around. Halle was granted an emergency protective order and full temporary custody of baby Halo. DDG, he got hit with a hard no. No talking about her, no posting about the baby, and he had to stay a full 100 yards away. Basically, silenced and sidelined. But here's what really made jaws drop. Halle wasn't just asking for space. She asked the court to send DDG to a battery prevention program. That ain't a petty move. That screams, I think this man is dangerous. She told the judge, I cannot allow this abuse any longer. Then, boom, the photos leaked. A chipped front tooth, a bruised bicep, and the internet caught fire. Some people were calling Halle a warrior. Others were in tears over what she went through. And honestly, most folks believed her without hesitation. For a minute, it looked like DDG's career was done. People were flaming him online, hard. They called him do garbage. Memes were flying. Hashtags like We Believe Halle and Protect Halo were everywhere. Folks weren't holding back, but behind the scenes, DDG wasn't laying low. He was getting ready. Quiet on the outside, but plotting his next move. And when he finally spoke, he flipped the whole story. He said he was the real victim. Now hold up. While Halle was out here posting soft-lit selfies and protective mama messages, DDG was in the background moving like a secret agent. This man was stacking screenshots like they were Pokemon cards. And then boom, Just days after that restraining order landed, he clapped back with a legal motion that flipped everything on its head. And nah, this wasn't some weak denial or PR fluff. DDG pulled up with receipts, real ones. He brought AirTag tracking claims, witness statements, and even showed a cut on his thumb he says came straight from Halle herself. According to him, she wasn't the victim, she was the one bringing chaos. He claimed she stalked him, played mind games, and even came at him with a knife. DDG said she didn't file that restraining order for safety. She did it to ruin him, to make him look like some deadbeat dad and then take off with baby Halo to Italy, like some twisted escape plot. But wait, it gets even messier. DDG told the court Halle planted multiple Apple AirTags to keep tabs on him for months. And where did they find one of these trackers? You won't believe this. Hidden in his Maybach, tucked under the seat inside a Hello Kitty pet tracker, that's cartoon level crazy. And then DDG's mom stepped into the mix. She said Halle once popped up uninvited at a Beverly Hills movie theater while DDG was on a date and tried to confront the girl he was with. Like full-on face-to-face drama in public. So how did she always know where he was? According to DDG's mom, Halle was tracking him with a pet AirTag. Yup, the kind meant for a cat. But hold up, it didn't stop there. Another tracker allegedly turned up inside a vitamin bottle in his Escalade, and the one that had everybody frozen, found in their son Halo's diaper bag, tucked under the cardboard lining, wrapped up tight. A literal pet tracker hidden in a baby stuff? That's when people online started doing double takes. Because no matter how angelic her voice sounds, hiding devices in your child's belongings, that don't scream protective mama anymore. It's giving serious bad vibes. And just when you thought the drama hit its limit, here comes the knife story. According to DDG, Halle had been blowing up his phone all night, message after message. Stuff like answer the phone in all caps over and over. And then things allegedly got darker. One text read, "I'm not playing Daryl, that's it." When DDG finally replied asking, "I just want to be left alone, please," she came back with something that had people gasping. "I'm calling for help. I have a knife." Yeah. That's when the whole situation started spiraling even further. What started as a breakup turned into straight up chaos. Now with tracking devices, scary texts, and serious accusations flying in both directions. He was begging her to stop, pleading, "Why do you have a knife?" But she didn't respond. According to DDG, she just showed him and then came at him. He claims she swung that knife and sliced deep into his hand. And when those photos hit the internet, the cut was no joke. Real blood, real panic, and screenshots of frantic texts backed it up. He told her to drop the knife on Mother's Day of all days, but she was heated. The story goes, she was upset he didn't want to spend the day with her, and instead of cooling off, she allegedly stormed out with his baby in one arm and his Glock in her purse. She told him she was just going to pack up, but those texts, they read like she was on the edge. One message from DDG said, "If you don't come back here, I'm calling the police. You have a son." And her reply, "You ruined me." That's when DDG panicked for real. He texted again, "You have a son, I know you took my gun. That gun has no safety." His tone was desperate, like he was scared something tragic could go down. And this wasn't the first time things had gotten scary. According to him, Halle had made similar threats before. One of the most intense moments, when she thought he was messing around with Lala. She ran straight to him, and that's when everything spiraled again. "I'm going to get my stuff tonight. My son will not be around for it. I hate you forever." That's what one of her texts said, and the rest, too wild to even read out loud. Her messages turned into a full-on storm of jealousy. Rant after rant loaded with typos and messy grammar. You could tell she was heated, like writing with tears in her eyes, kind of angry. And while all that was going down, Lala finally jumped online and begged people to stop believing everything they saw floating around. It was chaos on all sides. Halle might have had heartbreak in her chest and fire in her text, but let's not forget the one who had no say in any of this, baby Halo. While these two were locked in digital war zones, courtrooms, and text threads, their one-year-old was stuck right in the middle of all the madness. And then came the twist that turned things tragic. In the middle of restraining orders, surveillance drama, and ugly accusations, Halle made a big ask. She wanted to take baby Halo with her to Italy for 2 months while she filmed a new movie. Sounds innocent enough, right? A work trip with her son, but DDG wasn't buying it. Not for a second. He filed an emergency court motion immediately, trying to block her from leaving the country with their child. This wasn't just about parenting anymore. Now it felt like a full-on custody war, and neither side was backing down. So why was DDG so determined to keep Halle from flying off to Italy with their son? According to him, she wasn't just upset, she was unstable, emotionally spiraling, and possibly a danger to both herself and baby Halo. In his own words, if she leaves court jurisdiction, who's gonna stop her if something goes wrong? That hit hard. He even claimed she once drove with their son in the car while making threats to harm herself. Even worse, he said she sent a message that sounded like she might hurt both herself and Halo in the same breath. And then DDG brought up something that really shook people, her battle with postpartum depression. He didn't mock it, but used it to show why he didn't trust her being alone with their child across the world. To him, this wasn't drama, it was danger. And here's the thing, the timeline matched up. Halle had spoken openly just a month earlier, in April, about how heavy postpartum had hit her. She said, "I didn't realize how serious of a thing it actually was. Now going through it, it almost feels like you're swimming in this ocean with the biggest waves you've ever felt. You're trying not to drown. You're trying to come up for air." Raw, honest, painful. But does that make her a threat or just human? That's where the internet went wildly split. Some fans slammed DDG, accusing him of using her mental health as a weapon to grab custody. Others, they said he was doing what any scared parent would, trying to protect his baby's life. TMZ dropped the bomb, leaked court docs where DDG laid everything out. He wasn't just asking for limits, he wanted sole custody. And if he couldn't get that, he demanded strict court-monitored handoffs, third-party supervision for visits, and a full ban on Halle taking their son out of state, let alone out of the country. But here's where things took a wild left turn. Rumor has it that Italian film studio, they got cold feet, real cold. Sources say they didn't want the smoke. International custody drama, bad press, and the ugly headlines of a baby mama caught in accusations involving threats with a child in the mix. That's a PR nightmare. Just like that, Halle may have lost the role. Her team hasn't confirmed anything publicly, and maybe they never will. But insiders are whispering that the production is already quietly recasting. And Disney? Silent. Not a peep. Her reps are zipped up tight, but if this is true, it's not just a personal L, it's a career hit. A real strike to the clean, sweet image she spent years building, note by note, smile by smile. From red carpets to singing underwater, this was her brand. And now it might be cracking. And the cruel twist? All she wanted was to bring her baby along for the ride. But now, it's looking like neither the courts nor the studio are backing her anymore. As soon as those documents hit the public, the internet went off. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was all-out war. Team DDG came out swinging, flooding blogs with screenshots of the air tags, the texts, and graphic photos of his injured hand like they were straight out of a courtroom drama, Exhibit A, B, and C. And fans started saying he's finally exposing the real emotional meltdown. "It's all an act," one user snapped. "Halle Bailey out here doing that soft, sweet, innocent voice, and the whole time she's the one who needs to be strapped in a straitjacket." Yeah, it got real nasty online. DDG fans started dropping their receipts like bombs, texts that showed him getting shut down by Halle in just a few words, trying to prove he was the one being dragged. But on the flip side, Black Twitter wasn't having it. They came out swinging for Halle because no matter how wild those texts looked, people were calling out the bigger picture. This was still a man with millions of followers using his platform to put the mother of his child on blast after a judge gave her a restraining order. One user wrote, "DDG is sick. None of these screenshots prove his innocence." Another chimed in, "Do these messages prove anything about Halle?" Number, it's textbook postpartum reactive behavior. As someone who lived through years of emotional abuse, this is how men flip the script. Push you to the edge, then act like you're the crazy one. And it wasn't just regular people chiming in either. Some celebs even jumped in, adding fuel to an already blazing fire. This drama had officially jumped from messy to mainstream. Actress TML dropped a hesitant post urging folks to protect Black women from being torn down and publicly destroyed. She's always been that voice for the mamas, the sisters, the ones who get silenced first. But while she stood up for Halle, YouTuber Adin Ross came from the other side, admitting he linked DDG with top lawyers to help him fight for full custody. That didn't sound random. It sounded like strategy. And that's when it became crystal clear. The lines were drawn. It was protect Black fathers versus believe Black women, and nobody was backing down. But then, things took a weird turn. While the fan bases went to war online, the entertainment industry, dead silent, too silent. Halle's reps, total radio silence, not a tweet, not a statement, nothing. And Disney? Of course they stayed quiet, acting like they weren't even watching the meltdown unfold. Then came the whisper that hit hardest. Halle's name had reportedly been scrubbed from the internal notes of that sleek European indie film set to shoot in Italy. The role she was supposed to star in, quietly slipping away. One source allegedly told Deadline off the record, the insurance liability just became too high. Let's break that down. Once DDG filed for sole custody and labeled her a psychological risk, legal teams started circling like vultures. Because in the world of international film, that kind of language is like setting off a red alert. Productions do not play when kids and court claims are in the mix. Suddenly, Halle trying to take baby Halo overseas wasn't just about custody, it became a legal emergency. DDG filed that motion just 3 days before her scheduled flight, and the ripple effect was instant. Studio heads reportedly hit panic mode. Flights got delayed, security red flags popped up, and behind closed doors, casting directors started making quiet calls. Then came the quietest cut of all. Halle was out. No announcement, no public statement. But let's be real, you don't need a press release to know when a ship's sailing without you. She was officially dropped. Fans weren't having it. Some started crying foul, saying the studio ditched a young Black mother the moment things got complicated. But people on the inside, they said the opposite. The studio just didn't want to risk being dragged into an international crisis if things escalated while filming. Because now, Halle wasn't just a rising star, she was labeled a legal risk. And that word, liability, carries serious weight in Hollywood. This whole situation proved one thing loud and clear: public opinion doesn't care about the gray areas. For every person shouting free Halo, there's another saying DDG is pulling strings and twisting the legal system to punish a woman who walked away from him. And the internet split right down the middle. Some are still holding up the bruised arm photos, the chipped tooth, the busted Ring camera footage, reminders of what Halle originally said she survived. Others are locked in on DDG's defense, painting her as unstable and dangerous. This isn't just drama anymore, it's a full-blown cultural crossfire. The internet went wild. One post got reposted over 10,000 times, but now that DDG's full court response is out, the tide is starting to turn. A trending TikTok sound uses his official court statement as the audio, playing over clips of Halle crying on stage. The caption, "Is she acting or breaking down for real?" Yeah, the commentary's getting dark. And the tweets, even worse. Just look at this one. DDG's playing it slick. Then he posts a pic of himself in dark shades with a simple checkmark emoji. No words, no explanation, just vibes, but fans knew exactly what it meant. Checkmate. Still, not everyone's clapping, and some people are starting to realize this is no longer just celebrity gossip. It's turning into something dangerous. Therapists have been warning about this for years. Turning someone's mental health battle into memes and trending sound bites is how generational trauma gets recycled all over again. While folks online are busy picking sides and clowning each other in the comments, baby Halo is stuck right in the middle, between two parents who both might be coming undone. And one day, this entire mess will be part of his story. Now everything rides on the next court date. Halle's legal team is fighting back hard. They filed motions asking the judge to ignore what they're calling a media smear campaign, accusing DDG of leaking private court docs to twist public opinion before trial even begins. Meanwhile, DDG's team is doubling down, still pushing for sole custody or, at the very least, a full ban on international travel and court-monitored handoffs. This battle's far from over, and the courtroom is about to get louder than ever. The judge has stayed mostly silent, but don't get it twisted. The stakes right now couldn't be higher. If DDG wins this, Halle could lose everything. Full custody rights? Gone. Travel with baby Halo for work? Shut down. She might even be forced into a parenting course, or worse, ordered to take a psychological evaluation. That's not just court stuff, that's career wrecking. But if Halle comes out on top, DDG could be hit with a permanent gag order, banned from ever speaking about her or Halo online again. And for a content creator whose whole life is built on sharing, that could crush his platform. Plus, all his claims about manipulation, air tags, and emotional threats could get tossed out like yesterday's tea. And let's be real, both of their reputations are hanging by a thread. For Halle, the risk isn't just legal, it's her entire brand. Black girls around the world saw themselves in her when she became Ariel. She was hope, she was representation. And now, that magical fairy tale is sinking fast in a sea of scandal and silence. And for DDG, this battle goes deeper than custody. This is about clearing his name in a world that never forgets, barely forgives, and doesn't care about court filings unless they come with emojis and screenshots. His legacy, his platform, his future, it's all riding on that next court date. Because once that gavel drops, somebody's legacy is done. So now I gotta ask you, was Halle a woman crying out for help, or something else entirely? Or was she a master manipulator hiding behind that baby soft image? Is DDG really a protective father, finally speaking his truth? Or just a bitter ex using silence as a weapon against the woman who walked away? And the biggest question of all, who's really protecting Halo? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't just drama, it's turning into a full-blown trial played out on every screen. Make sure to like, subscribe, and tap that bell so you don't miss a second, because one thing's for sure, the truth always finds its way to the surface, and trust it won't stay hidden forever. See you next time. Stay alert, stay loud, and keep your eyes open. This story's far from over.